Good evening, welcome back to Cruising Off Duty. I am Craig. So tonight we're going to continue the series on products that will make your life more enjoyable to live off the grid. Now you know my channel, I'm mostly known for sailing, but whether you're a boater, RVer, camper, live in a cottage in the outback, have a van down by the river, or you're a doomsday prepper, we all have one thing in common, and that's that we need to learn how to produce electricity, store electricity, convert it into a volts, watts, or amps that we need, and then learn how to efficiently disseminate that in the most efficient way, and then of course repeat the process over and over every single day. So in my previous episodes, you've seen me talk about lithium iron phosphate batteries, you've seen me talk about solar generators. We've never really talked in any sort of detail about solar panels, and that's the most obvious way to do point number one of those, which is produce power, create power. So solar is probably the easiest, quickest, quietest way to produce power. There's other ways, of course. There's wind generators, there's, if you're a boat, there's water generators, but solar is kind of like the de facto fallback go-to for almost every type of person. Whether you're camping, RV, or whatnot, usually you can either have a statically mounted glass panel, or in this case, a folding solar panel. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to compare this Bluetti PV200, and we're going to talk about its pros and its cons, and compare it to a 200 watt RENOGY glass panel. Same amount of watts. We want to see how does it compare. Does it do better? Does it do worse than a glass panel? And I'll talk about the pros and cons of why you would use one over the other, regardless of whether one in this test outperforms the other. Now I'll give you a little foreshadow. I filmed the test earlier, and I was shocked, and I think you will be too, on which one did better. Now, glass panels have been around forever. In fact, I have two glass panels on the top of my bimini. If you're not a sailor, that's the part that gives you shade in the cockpit. I have it mounted on bars up there. I have 260 watts. Back then, for the space, I thought I could attribute to that. I got two 130 watt glass panels. And the plus to those things is that they look brand new even today. And they've been on my boat for about 13 years now. Now, I probably can assume that the efficiency of monocrystalline and solar in general back 13 years ago is not as efficient as today. So if I took the same wattage and put it on my boat with a modern panel, I would have a preconceived notion again that these new panels would probably outperform. But how does a folding panel go? In the past, you'll have seen semi-flexible solar panels, and they were usually polycrystalline. This one is monocrystalline, the same technology as the glass panels. So, again, foreshadowing. That might mean that this is just as efficient as a glass panel, and we will see. And just as an aside before I go, this Bluetti panel was paid for by me. The RENOGY that it's competing against was paid for by me. This is not a sponsored video, and nobody's told me what to say. I have no outside interference. So I will definitely, as I always do in my videos, give you the pros and cons of everything at the very end of the video. This is the PV200. It's so big, I don't even know if I can actually unfold it on camera here. I'll give you the dimensions. It's a 4-panel solar panel, as opposed to sometimes you see 2. In fact, just as an example, this is 100 watts by a company named AimTom. And if I undid this, it's only 2 panels. So it's very easy to flip open. It's got 2 little legs on the back, and you fold it out to pick the angle you want. This one is 4 panels with 3 sets of legs. So it's a lot heavier. Now I would take that to mean a lot better quality. It's 16.1 pounds. It's 23.2 inches wide this direction and 24.8 this way when it's folded. And I guess it's about, when it's folded tight, it's about an inch, inch and a half wide. Again, 16 pounds. It's got a really nice sturdy handle. Sorry, I've unclipped it already, so I can't pick it up to show you, but it's got a sturdy handle, easy to pick up, 16.1 pounds. Clearly you can carry that around fairly easily. Now I wouldn't want to strap this to a backpack if I'm going hiking for a long period, because 16.1 pounds plus everything else you need to live with, it's pretty heavy. So if you needed something just for like a backpacking camping thing, something more like this might be a little bit more well suited based on weight. This is top quality. Just the feeling of it is super thick and super well made. Its open circuit voltage is 26.1 volts. Its max continuous operating is 9.7 amps. The operating temperature says minus 10 Celsius to 63 Celsius. And for the Americans out there, let me just check. That is 14 Fahrenheit to 145 Fahrenheit. So Yeah, now what's with the lower side? Because I know my glass panels, they can be out in -20, -30 Celsius. Why are these saying -10? I think it's, yeah, -10. Well, I can only assume it has to do with the material. Now this is it's got material to fold. It's made of a nylon. So I'm assuming they're thinking if you constantly are out in super frigid cold conditions, and in the winter it gets -20, let's say, and then goes up to -5, and then down to -30, and then up to -6. That constant freezing, thawing might damage the material. Maybe that's the reason that their lower max is saying -10. I'm assuming if you were a little lower than that, it probably wouldn't matter because the monocrystalline solar panel parts are the same as glass. So there you go. The coating, something we should talk about. It's ETFE coated. So let me just show you that. ETFE coating means this is very shiny. It's also scratch resistant. This is the same type of coating they put on solar panels that you can walk on. You see them on sailboats where they're on a surface like on a top of a salon deck or something and you're walking on it. That's what this type of thing is. It's not impervious to scratches, but resistant to scratches. It also does not fog with age, or shouldn't fog with age from the sun. So the transparency on this is 95%. Very transparent, so almost all the light gets through, even through that protective coating to the solar panel below, and that's what makes it super efficient. It's got a 23.4% efficiency, which if you don't know much about solar panels is like 23.4 is that even good? Wouldn't it be more like 90% is good? No, for solar panels, 23.4 is at the upper kind of efficiency range of modern solar panels today. So that means it harnesses about 23.4% of the actual sun's radiation into this, which is damn high. So that's, again, why you're talking about quality and maybe thickness and a little bit more weight, because you're getting really high quality monocrystalline panels. Another thing on the quality, I was quite impressed with the wiring that comes with this. It's about, I think it's at least 6 feet long, but just the quality of the cord, and that it's all waterproof because the way it's mounted. Oh, I didn't mention that. It's IP65, which means it's waterproof, not submersible, waterproof, which means you can leave this out if you're camping, RVing. If you leave and a downpour comes out of nowhere and this thing gets drenched, no problem. Everything's weather sealed. This material has that coating on it as well, so it's waterproof. What else can you say? But they do say, caveat, not submersible. So on my boat, if I was to leave this on the deck, you better bungee cord it through this handle or something. Because if you're a boater, you know it could be dead calm and then out of nowhere, a squall or a gust, massive gust, 20-knot winds out of nowhere. I've seen it many times. So if you have this just leaning on his legs on the deck of your boat and you go down below to make lunch and then a big, huge windstorm blows through and blows this thing overboard, good luck. Because it's probably if you're in shallow enough water to dive down and get it, it may not survive being submerged for X number of minutes while you get your swimsuit and your snorkel stuff on to go down and get it. I'd still try, because you never know. But it says it's not submersible. So there you go. Very good quality cord, and it is IP65 rated, so you can leave it outside. We'll talk about one of the cons I do see at the very end of the video, but I just thought I'd mention this part about the high quality cord, and that is MC4 connections on that cord, so it can go right into a thing like a Bluetti or anything that has cords that will marry up to that. Now let's talk use cases. Why would you get a folding panel versus a glass panel? Some of it is obvious. Folding, portable, you most likely put it out when you need it, like when the sun's out, you put it out. If you're camping, RVing, or on a boat, you can put this on your deck, capture extra solar. Sometimes, let's say in a boat or an RV, you might have static glass panels on the roof of your RV or on your boat, which are there year round. Then you bring this out to add that extra boost on those beautiful sunny days. So that's what I would say. Portability. But then again, the downside is it's not really designed to be mounted to an RV or boat because, you know, the wind will buffet this and flop it around, and it is semi-flexible. So this is not meant to be mounted permanently on a vehicle, especially if you're going to go down a highway. On a sailboat, you're not moving nearly as fast, but I still wouldn't leave this permanently mounted above your bimini. You know, I would say bungee it or tie it down if you're going to move in your boat. Boats aren't going to go highway speed, so probably the air buffeting it is not going to be crazy. But still, if you want a permanently mounted solar panel on your boat or RV, you would go with, or house, you would go with the glass panels because they are weatherproof to the nth degree. They can take high winds. They're not flexible. They're rigid. They've got an aluminum frame. So they can take the abuse of highway speeds on an RV, on a boat, bouncing through waves. You know, you see what I'm saying. Very rigid, very solid. And like I said, that aluminum frame gives it a lot of stability. Okay, so after all that, we're going to cut now to the side-by-side comparison. Same day, obviously, right beside each other. Which one does better, this one or the RENOGY? And I just want to do a little preamble here. That day, I saw the perfect opportunity. I live pretty close to my work. I decided this day I want to do that side-by-side test. We hadn't had too many sunny days lately. I mean, we're talking perfectly blue sunny days. So I raced home on my lunch hour, set it all up, dragged this heavy beast out there so I could test it. And with all the running around, I was winded and I didn't have time to relax. So I filmed it as is. And it wasn't until I started editing that footage that I'm like, wow, I sound like I jogged home. A little winded. So no, I'm fine. Wasn't having a heart attack, but I was under a time crunch, and there you go. So let's watch that side-by-side comparison video now, and then we'll talk about the final conclusions after that. Stay tuned. All right, welcome to Canada in February. As you can see, the solar panels are at a pretty steep angle to be perfectly perpendicular to the sun. It's a beautiful blue sky, but unfortunately this time of year, the sun, it's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's pretty low in the sky. So to get the best effect, I had to be perpendicular, which means pretty much straight up and down. So this is the RENOGY 200 watt. It's 9 bus bar. Very good quality. I'm very happy with it. I have 2 of these in my backyard permanently for charging my solar generator. And then this is the Bluetti PV200, also 200 watts. We're going to compare today what they get in similar conditions. Now, if you see that can of soup on the chair, that's the soup can. So what you do is you hold that in front on top of your solar panel and try and get the minimal amount of shadow. That means you are as close to perpendicular as you're going to be to the sun. Now it's a little easier with the glass panel because you just lean it against something. With the fold out legs, I couldn't find a snap that's got a higher angle than this. So this is going to be the best I can do, and let's just see which one does better. Okay, you're not going to be able to read that probably from the camera, but I've got 140 watts coming out of the RENOGY 200 watt, which is pretty good considering how low in the sky the sun is, and kind of actually not a little later than I would like to do it. So the next one we'll do is the Bluetti PV200. Again, this is going to be a little harder to do because realistically, to get a perfect no shadow, I need to bring it up higher. Unfortunately, the folding legs don't really accommodate that. So what I might do is just lean it against the RENOGY and see, that way I'll have the same angle. Okay, it also comes with the MC4, nice thick wire. Just take this off here, connect those up. Let's see what it gets. Holy crap. I'm seeing 189 watts. Yeah, 189 watts. I'll try and zoom in so you can see that. That's crazy. That's crazy good. Considering how long. I don't know if I can get the camera low enough. Hopefully I can capture that. 189 watts. And as you can see, really just leaned it at the same angle as the RENOGY. Holy crap, that is good. Because it's not even perfectly angled. So you can see the last tile on the far side is just sort of hanging off, probably not at a perfect angle, but close enough, obviously. 189 watts. I am damn impressed with that. Good job, Bluetti. Okay, so after that, who else was shocked that this folding solar panel vastly outperformed the glass panel? I'll tell you, I did not expect that. I was expecting that one of the downsides of a folding panel is that you're not going to get quite the efficiency you would of a literally all glass solar panel. But as you saw from the video, 189 watts to 140 something watts, that's noticeably different. Now I have a second RENOGY panel out back. After I saw that, I thought maybe for my own information, I'll bring the second RENOGY out and I'll put them side by side into the Bluetti and see if one is not as efficient as the other. I expected them to both be equal. We'll see if they're equal. But if nothing else, I've got to be really impressed with 188, 189 watts out of a 200 watt panel in Canada with the sun low in the horizon. when I saw those results, I was like, nah, that can't be right. And I waited a little bit to film the Bluetti screen just to say, yeah, it wasn't like it spiked to 188, 189. It stayed right there, 184, 189, 184, 189 in that range the whole time. Out of a 200 watt panel, I only thought you'd get close to that on, in our summer when the sun is directly above you, straight down on your solar panel. I thought, well, maybe we get close to 200 then. But to get 189, 10, 11 watts under its rated capacity, that low in the sky, blew me away. So good on you, Bluetti. You made a nice product here. If you are a solar panel company who has another solar panel that you think will do just as well as this or beats the RENOGY or whatnot, I'll put my email down below. Feel free to contact me. I'd love to test a lot more varied varieties of solar panels, solar generators, lithium iron phosphate batteries, anything that's off-grid. It's an off-grid product. I'm more than happy to review it. But then again, keep in mind, I talk about the pros and the cons of every product, and you do not have any say in what I say for the video. But if you think your product is worthy of a good review, send it along. Email below. Okay, let's talk bang for the buck, because even if I show you and convince you that this is a quality solar panel, more quality than I was even going to give it credit for, you might be saying, yeah, but how much does it cost? You get the value to quality ratio better be right. So right now on the Bluetti website, and I've got the links down below, there's always, not always, there's usually sales, so it's check the link down below to see if the prices have changed. So presently on the Bluetti US site, it's on sale for $469 from $499. On the Canadian site, it's on sale for $569. And usually us Canadians, we're always getting the shaft thanks to our government. Our Canadian dollar is no longer anywhere close to par with the US dollar. And you Australians, New Zealanders, British pounders, you know the same thing. The American dollar got stronger and all of our currencies got weaker. But I gotta give Bluetti credit, because if you actually multiply $469 by our exchange rate, which right now is about 1.33, 1.34, it should actually cost us $629, but is presently on sale on the Canadian Bluetti site for $569. So us Canadians are getting it cheaper than the Americans. When does that ever happen? Never. So there you go. That's rare. Okay, so let's talk pros and cons. Pros, top quality material, waterproof, very good efficiency as we've proven. It says 23.5% or whatever efficiency, which is really good, but the proof is in the pudding and the numbers. Very impressed with the quality. Build quality seems super durable. Like I say, this thing will last you probably decades as long as you take care of it. And that means don't leave it outside permanently in inclement weather overnight when it's not going to get you solar anyway. You pay a little bit of money for these things. You want to treat them right, which means put it out when you need it, take it in when you don't. Don't leave it in unnecessary inclement weather for long periods of time. And this actual monocrystalline panel should last you decades. Another thing I forgot to mention earlier is you can put these in series or parallel. So if 200 watts just isn't going to cut it for you, you need 400, 600, 800 watts. You can put them in series, you can put them in parallel. So you don't need, if one's all you can afford, I only own one right now. If one's all you can afford, then get the one. But if your solar generator takes, in this case, 900 watts in, you could put 4 of these together and have 800 watts going into this and pretty much close to max out the Bluetti's solar panel and MPPT controller. Now cons, there aren't that many. I'm really gonna get nitpicky here. The price is right, I think. For the quality you're getting, you're getting a top quality thing. So I don't think the price is a con. It's just something to keep in mind. There are cheaper 200 watt solar panels from companies with less brand recognition. Will it get this rate of efficiency? My guess is no, but maybe if I test more, I'll find another one that's cheaper and does just as well. What I didn't like is that the legs just have these snap points and you have to pick the angle that you want. Again, a lot of times you set it up and then realize when you do that soup can perfect angle thing, that where you've got these little snaps is not exactly where you need it. Then you have to go and unsnap every one of these and change it. It would have been nice if there was like a pull locking strap system where you pull it to the angle you want and you let it go and it locks. Also too, in my Canadian low in the sky sun, as you saw from the video, it's this snap and then this one way down here, which is, it's almost like that's just meant to be nothing. That's meant to just keep it right against the wall of the solar panel, because this is so little leg that this thing will just flop over. So the most angle you're gonna get with a leg that actually stands up is 45 degrees. Anything higher than that, and you'll have to lean it against something like I did in my video. And the final small gripe is there's no grommets. There's nowhere to attach this with bungee cords or whatever. Now, clearly I'm thinking more of a boater. I would love to put this on my deck. I'd like to have bungee cord to the boom and the mast, and then bungee cord to my lifelines at the bottom and have it at an angle that's perfect for the sun, and also know that I can go down below, and if the wind picks up, it's not flying overboard because it's bungeed on all four corners. Prime example, this much smaller 100 watt from AimTom has little grommet holes. That's what I'm talking about, little grommet holes like that, so you can take a bungee cord and hook it to each one, to different mounting points on your boat, and have peace of mind. Luckily, there is this handle, so just to make sure it doesn't blow right off your boat, you could strap this to something secure, and there you go. But you can't then angle all the other corners with the bungee cords. Now, what I did do once in my backyard was I had a piece of plywood, and I hung this solar panel from the handle and let this flop down. So instead of your solar panel being horizontally laid out, it was vertically laid out. So I'll try and put a little photo of that if I have it on from my phone. So there you go. I can't really think of another thing that I would gripe about other than legs could be a little bit easier to adjust to multiple angles, and grommets so you can actually bungee cord this to something. Other than that, I think it's good bang for the buck. So hopefully you found this episode on the PV200, and I guess in a way the RENOGY 200. If you like this episode, show the channel some love by giving it a thumbs up. It helps grow the channel. It'll allow the channel to grow to a size that more companies will send me more products to review. So that'll be you help me help you. All right, more reviews. That's it. Until next time, this is Craig signing off, wishing you safe cruising. Ciao for now. In the next episode, I'm going to be reviewing the B230 expansion battery from Bluetti, as well as the DC charge enhancer. It allows you to use more than one solar array to charge your Bluetti. If you enjoy seeing product reviews of more things that will help you stay off the grid, then don't forget to subscribe to Cruising Off Duty.